gentlemen, welcome to week 8. And we got to talk, okay? There have been more moves today than I imagined, obviously. It kicked off at 3:43 today with a trade between Sam and I, and then a monster trade from the Clark County Crusaders and the Huntsville Hitmen, where the Clark County Crusaders grabbed Tyreek Hill from Huntsville. I'm glad that I waited this long to do these rankings because I feel like there's some movement in the water, if you will. And then the Bond County Coonhounds went out and grabbed the just recently injured Jamar Chase because he'll be out around 4 to 6 weeks, hoping to have him a go come playoff time. We'll see if that ends up panning out. They spent a lot for him in picks, so that will be very, very interesting. Now, let's recap week 7. Bond County Coonhounds went into St. Louis, took the L, was without their star wide receivers, scored 100 points. So a lot of people said we wouldn't, but we did. Looters scoring 160 as always. A nail biter in Beecher, where the Middle Tennessee Riflemen ended up edging out the Beecher Creatures. It quite literally came down to the final drive of the week, and the Clark County Crusaders come up short against the Dragons. Some unfortunate stuff there. Tennessee Colonels, what's new? They ended up losing to the Cali Pigs. Delvin Deer get a win. First one of the year. Maybe not the last, but probably. And the Huntsville Hitmen end up taking down the Shadow Troop to round it out. Moving into week 8, and we've got some really important matchups coming up this week. A lot of 3 and 4 teams. And it is do or die for a lot of those 3 and 4 teams. With the way the playoffs, if we were to end today, right now, your playoff teams would be the Looters and the Coonhounds with the bye. Shadow Troop matching up against the Middle Tennessee Riflemen, and the Cali Pigs taking on the surprise Dallas Dragons. Wild stuff. Dragons got a cheap win the week before, and they're going up against an opponent who has not been managing their team well this week. You could very well see the Dragons being 5-3 after this week, after being power ranked 11 for the longest time in this league. But because of some mismanagement, because of some scoring luck, the Dragons are looking like a playoff team. Absolutely incredible. I had them at the sleeper at the very beginning. They fell off the map. They are now going to be one of the teams that people are going to have to try to knock out if they want a piece of the pie when it comes playoff time. Marquee matchup of the week. I think you gotta make it both the Golden Opportunities and Dallas Dragons going up against each other, and then the Middle Tennessee Riflemen and Clark County Crusaders. That's a big game for Dylan this week. He absolutely needs a win, one of those 3 and 4 teams. So we'll see how it shakes out. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the power rankings. Like I said, I'm glad I did this late, so that way I could add in these crazy trades. Starting out at number 12, although he got a win last week, still at number 12. I would like to bump him up to 11. I just didn't have the heart to. We've got the Delvin Deer. How about them Bears, man? Matthew Judon was absolutely insane. About the only Patriot that came to play that day. And the Delvin Deer ended up getting a win in incredible fashion. And with the way that the Huntsville Hitmen, especially with the Jamar Chase injury, and it seems like there's a fire sale going on in Huntsville, Delvin Deer could very well pick up another win here. Who knows? Who knows? But as of right now, we've got him at number 12. Coming in at number 11. Currently 1-6, should be 0-7 if you're going by my playbook. But the Tennessee Colonels matched up against the St. Louis Looters this week. Man, Tennessee, there's just not a lot to like about this team. I think the shining star on his team right now is Ramondre Stevenson. But a lot of underperforming team. Just there's no gel in Tennessee right now. The owners are lynching people from outside the stadium. I hear they're letting guns in this week just because they don't give a fuck about anything anymore. It's absolute madness in Tennessee at the moment. Hide your kids, hide your wife. Chase Holmes is burning Tennessee to the ground. It's sad. It's a great state. But good God, the Colonels have got to figure something out. Number 10, the Golden Opportunities. This is strictly off mismanagement. Russell Wilson sucks ass. And Courtland Sutton is a great player, but he suffers because of who his quarterback and who his coach is. Unfortunately, he hasn't had DeAndre Swift most of this season. There's a possibility he comes back this week, but it seems like they're playing cat and mouse with injuries in Detroit right now. And so the ceiling and the future just looks bleak in Colorado. And Noah Casale's suffering because of it. But that's not an excuse to be a bad manager. So I hope that he has a full lineup this week. And we'll see if the Golden Opportunities can return from that fall from grace. Coming in at number 9, we have the Huntsville Hitmen. Like I said, there's a fire sale. I could switch him back and forth between 9 and 10 right now. Super unfortunate. I mean, the guy has dealt with injuries all year long, and he's got some great value for the future. I think he's setting his team up well. He knows where his value's at, and he drives a hard bargain. And you know that while it seems like there's a lot of really bad stuff happening right now, he's got a lot of really young talent. Especially Pierce is going to be incredible, I think, in the years to come, because he's just going to be an absolute workhorse in years future. And I think there's a lot to like about the future in Huntsville. I think they're rebuilding smart. And I think it was the right time. I think he didn't jump on the sell train too quickly. Didn't jump on the sell train when somebody else was driving up prices for players. And so he got market value or above market value for some of these players. And I think Michael's done a very good job, obviously, so far with the deals he's been able to make. And so I'm very happy with how the Huntsville Hitmen have handled themselves in this extremely tough time as a franchise. Coming in at number 8, the sleeper of the year, currently in a playoff spot, but I do think some of his wins are invalid. No reason to apologize for being 4-3. Which is crazy that gets you a playoff spot right now. That just shows how tight it is in the middle of the pack right here. But I've got the Dallas Dragons. Dragon is super smart when it comes to picking players up, playing guys in the right position. DeAndre Hopkins back helps him a ton. And like I said, you shouldn't apologize for being for what your record is. I think some of his wins are a little illegitimate with, teams he's going up against not playing full lineups. But I could be proven wrong. We'll see. Right now, I've got him at 8. Could bump him up to 7, I think. 7 or 6, depending upon how some of those guys play in there. I really feel like 5 through 8 are interchangeable in a lot of ways. So the Dallas Dragons, though, currently at number 8. Coming in at number 7, originally had another team, but a trade going through bumped this team down. I've got the Beecher Creatures as the gatekeeper this week. And he's going up against the Cali Pigs, who he absolutely needs a win against this week to avoid going 3-5. The Beecher Creatures need Jalen Hurts and Joe Mixon to absolutely show out. Kenneth Walker has shown that he has arrived, but I believe with the injury to Ja'Marr Chase, this is definitely going to elevate the Creatures this week and in the coming weeks with T. Higgins, hopefully. And I think he's going to get more value out of his team this way with that weapon not being on the field. So look for Joe Mixon and T. Higgins to produce more. That's going to be very important for Austin coming down the stretch. Coming in at number 6, the guy who went all out, said, I want Tyreek Hill. The Clark County Crusaders took a tough loss last week. However, in a very good position, if getting a win this week and the weeks to come, the Clark County Crusaders are going to be a team to mess with. Listen here. Aaron Jones is the only answer in Green Bay. CeeDee Lamb, solid. Tyreek Hill, solid. Tyler Boyd, a huge value here this week, especially with the Ja'Marr Chase out. These Bengals weapons who aren't named Ja'Marr Chase, absolutely going to be elevated this week. Christian McCaffrey, just another week in the system. Lamar Jackson, always a huge boom opportunity. It could get so unreal in Clark County. I think everybody should be afraid. This team, it could go one of two ways, obviously, but this team has so much more boom potential. I think when you look into the weeds, when you get all up in there, it could be fucking nuts with what this team could do. I've got him at 6 right now. Could absolutely be elevated here coming, especially if we can get some separation between the 3 and 4 teams and the 4 and 3 teams. That team right there, that's the team that I'm picking right now to surprise a lot of people. Going to be a playoff team, the Clark County Crusaders. Huge trade done today. Now, number 5, we got the Shadow Troop. He's been frisky as fuck lately. And Kirk Cousins is back this week. Dalvin Cook is back this week. But you know who is? Jay Jettas. And that's who you're going up against this week, Parker. And it's going to be a tough one for you. The Coonhounds are back at full strength, minus Clyde Edwards-Helaire on bye. But another 3 and 4 team that absolutely needs a win this week. Shadow Troop at number 5. They can score points at will. That's why I've got them at number 5. They can boom big. There is no ceiling to what this team can score. Could absolutely score 200 points. That's why I've got them at number 5. In at number 4, with proper management, the Middle Tennessee Riflemen is a team that is not to be reckoned with. Absolute stud of quarterback. Now, hold on. Jonathan Taylor has not been incredible this year. However, is back. Saquon Barkley has been great this year. Cooper Kupp, need I say more? But again, not very deep. That's why we're seeing him struggle a little bit in these bye weeks. That's why I think it was so important for him to get that win the week before the bye weeks hit. He did not. So that is why I have the Middle Tennessee Riflemen at number 4, moving to number 3. A 4 and 3 team out of California, the Cali Pigs. This team is dangerous. Don't let anybody convince you otherwise. This team is so much better than their record. And I know depth is an issue, but let us not forget what the first few weeks were and how this team just scores 150 consistently. You can talk all about, oh, well, if this person gets hurt, if this person, doesn't play, blah, 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 blah. The fact of the matter is everybody's fucking playing, and Ryan Taylor's got a number 3 overall team here, and he's, going to be in the playoffs because of it. So let's move on to number 2, the Bond County Coonhounds, who lost last week, are now no longer undefeated. We knew it was going to happen. I really didn't think there was a chance we win last week. I like that, my guys kept their heads to the ground this week in film, and huge bounce back week for the Coonhounds. I mean, we're on the road again, going into Southern Illinois, and we're going to beat the shit out of the Shadow Troop. We're going to come back, and we're going to get ready for week 9, which we play the Delvin Deer, who are nobody's walkover team this week, but I think we get we get a win here, bounce back week, go back home, play Delvin, and now we're looking at an 8-1 team going into week 10. I think that's where the Bond County Coonhounds are going to end up. But enough about them. Let's go ahead and get into the number 1 overall. Absolutely earned it, being 7-0. The St. Louis Looters have done absolutely everything that they can and have had to do to be where they're at. And at this point, they've got to be close. I know in the coming weeks we're probably going to get to the point where the Looters can start counting down how many more wins they need to actually clinch a playoff berth. So St. Louis, they've played well so far. Some people, not me, but some people are saying they had a little bit of a Mickey Mouse win, beating the Bond County Coonhounds last week. Not me, but some are saying. Some could also say that they didn't get to see Jay Jettas and Stephon Diggs on the field, so could be saving that for playoff time, potential championship matchup. There's nothing more bad I can say about the Looters. Although I don't love it on paper, I can't hate on it, obviously, because he's 7-0. Max Crosby, I think, is his best player, who's just been an absolute fucking stud. 9 points, 19.5, 21, 18.5, 5.5 last week. I think that's his worst week, which is nuts. So the Looters, they are a force to be reckoned with, and I think all of us should be looking out if we're up against them. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you in week 9.